Covering all things LEGO, from Minneapolis to Fiverton and LEGO cities beyond. It's breaking news.
What is up there, LEGO fans, and welcome back. Alex here.
Jason, welcome to Breaking News.
Breaking news. Love it.
Today we've got another wonderful segment. It's not blind build, so you can relax. We've got Ask Alex.
Yes.
So this is where you can send in your questions, see what Alex thinks, feels, knows, whatever.
You can ask him questions too.
You can.
Nothing wrong with that.
But if they want to know what I know, it's not much. So
Well, I want to know some stuff. I can ask some questions too, you know.
Yes, you could.
There you go. Maybe I will.
So, yeah, you can, if you want to send in a comment for a future episode, just put them in the comment section. Just say, question or ask Alex, whatever. You can ask either of us about Lego, non-Lego, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Right. But it doesn't have to be. No, I don't see these questions beforehand.
No.
That's kind of the shtick here. So I can be kind of caught off guard, like, oh, what? But luckily it's so don't throw me any curveballs, all right? Don't throw me softball questions, all right?
Throw him curveballs.
Nah.
Give him high heat.
I can't lay out the high heat.
There you go. So our first question,
All right, here we
you
go.
may remember last time we had an issue where you said, "Oh, I have a question," and you were looking on your phone.
Yeah, I
and we
remember
scrolled
that.
And scrolled.
I know
Remember?
who sent that. One more question I have, and I don't want to forget this. So let me bring it up. I think it was it on social media? It was Messenger.
Okay.
And oh man, it's probably been a minute.
Okay. It's all right. He's going to look that up.
I'm gonna
we'll
look
be
it
back
up.
in a moment.
We can edit this all out.
A few moments later.
And I want to make sure I don't forget this because he'll say, "Hey, what about my question?"
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Ooh, maybe it doesn't go back that far. This is why I always have you track everything, because this is what happened. It's all right. Well, I can't find it. Yeah, I remember. Okay, so we found that question.
Well, so Robert messaged me
Robert.
and said, "I know what the question is," because I assume he's the one that asked it.
Yep.
So he said, ask Alex, although I could answer if I chose to do this as well.
Okay.
He said, "I know you've been collecting Lego a long time."
You're not wrong.
That's not the question.
Oh, okay. Darn it. I thought
But
it was
if
easy.
you were starting Minneapolis today,
Ooh.
would you feel that you could build a credible city without all 17 true modulars?
Yes.
18 if you include... I didn't finish the
Sorry.
question. Jeez.
Sorry. All right.
18
Pump
if
the
you
brakes.
include Market Street, Avengers Tower, Sanctum Sanctorum, Daily Bugle, and the various fairgrounds, and the carousel and the mixer and the
So this
the haunted
is
house
starting a city right now with the sets that are available right now.
So there could be two ways to look at this. I guess the question is, could be, and maybe you can clarify if this is what you're asking, Robert. He could be asking either, could you build a city on your own without the sets? Like build your own cities? Because and I would say certainly some things you could, because you built
Sure.
Shmew Tower and the Avengers Tower on your own, right?
Yeah, it's no question that the modulars and the bigger Lego sets have definitely helped make my city look awesome, right? But anybody else in the world who's been collecting modulars would have an identical Lego city, right? There's not what makes your city unique, right? I guess could be the question. So do I feel like I could build Minneapolis now without the modulars or the sets that you mentioned there? I feel strongly yes, only because I feel like I'm very passionate about Lego and building Lego City. And I look back at my history, I feel like I have a very strong drive to build Lego City. So even if modulars never came out, let's say 2007, nothing happens, right? I would have something there. And it would be, there would be a bunch of shops, stores, buildings. I don't know what they would be.
Police stations, fire stations.
Police stations and fire stations, yes. And now I will say though, it probably hindered creativity to some extent. I would say, because if those weren't there, I'd have to create something else, probably on my own. Absolutely. But I feel confident something would still be there at a very similar scale. I would fill that basement with something. Absolutely, yes.
So I think it would definitely have a different look, right? Because
Oh, yeah,
those
radically
sets,
different.
you think about it. Like I had the city sets and the Legoland Hotel and those. I remember those when I was a kid. And I would build cities
Yeah,
when I was
right.
10, 12,
Yeah.
whatever. But they all had the dollhouse effect or the
Sure.
open back.
Yeah, the
And
open
so
back,
you
right.
probably have a lot more of that than you do now.
Yes.
you
Yes.
know. And
Right.
would you have filled those in? Maybe, maybe not. Who knows?
Yeah, and I
the
think
world would just be different.
it would be very different. Yeah, and to Robert, I don't know if this is your point or not, but I mean, because like I said earlier, you can buy all these Lego sets and your city is identical to everybody else's, right? So you know what makes yours unique? Yeah, we all have a combination of modulars and they're fantastic, and I love them, and I will continue to collect them. But what's around them, that creativity is probably not as needed because of those for a lot of people, I think. But you know what I will say though is this is something I can never do myself. Is modulate the modulars. So you get a modular building. I see people that break them down and rebuild them and create something different, maybe usually more amazing. I just can't do that. I like the sets as they are, so I just keep them as is. But if you're one of those people that modifies your modulars,
So you're saying it's not that you don't have the ability.
I just can't do it.
You just don't have that desire.
I
to
would
ruin
rather
that great thing.
Right, and not that it's maybe I could make it better, maybe I'd make it worse. I don't know. I don't want to test my abilities there. I like just creating from the ground up new buildings. So that's kind of my style, I guess. So yeah, there you have it. Good question.
And I guess an offshoot of that, which I've seen different thoughts and comments on. I've seen people complain about, well, if you have modulars, that's not a Lego city. It's just a collection of Lego
modulars,
sets.
yeah.
And I mean, I understand the point they're making there. And I know some people, they're like, I won't have a single modular in my building or my whole layout because I want it to be a true
all original.
creation.
Yes.
Well, I don't know what. I kind of think I know where you stand on this because I've seen your city, but.
Well, my follow-up to that is, like, what I'm doing right now is I'm doing a rebuild, right? So what I absolutely love, and I enjoy building mocks, but it's not really my main thing. Some people, their thing is building mocks, and they're great at it, don't get me wrong. But for me, I love getting a city to come together. I love getting all of the trains going a certain way, the monorail track, the roads, the whole infrastructure to work. And that's what I love about it. And that's my challenge to myself and that's why I'm always doing these rebuilds, because I want to challenge myself to rebuild it, make it better, fit things differently, come up with new ideas to make it a more thriving city. So that's kind of my main approach and the value that I derive from having a Lego city. So there you go. All right, what's next?
All right, so the next one, we have actually a couple questions from this person.
Okay.
It says, my name is Timo.
What's up, Timo?
And I am an adult fan of Lego.
Me too.
I think that's an AFOL.
AFOL.
I'm from the Netherlands. I followed Alex for a while and love to see your city grow. Or in this case, shrink.
Shrink. Be destroyed and rebuilt.
Also love the older sets from the early 90s and the mix between the new and the old sets in his city. Here are some questions I have for your next video. Are there specific themes from Lego that you want to add to your Lego city layout? Like Paradisa, maybe Belleville, or even Fabuland, or something else like Pirates or Time Cruiser?
That's a good question. That's not something I never really thought about that too much. I don't know. I think it just depends on like my first impression of a set that comes out. Okay, because I'm always thinking, is that something that I can put in the city, right? So one thing that I got super excited about was when they came out with the fairground mixer. I was like, oh, cool! I can have like a little like ride area. And then they came out with the Ferris wheel, and I was like, oh my gosh, they're doing rides. This is kind of a theme, and I was super excited about these new amusement park or fairground sets and roller coasters, and that is why there is a massive part of my city dedicated to an amusement park, right? Yeah. So it all just kind of depends on what Lego's coming out. So I do pick and choose. Like I'm a little more conservative when it comes to the coloring of my city. I don't want any wild, like bright colors like the purples, the pinks, the bright yellows. I'm not a huge fan of that. Not saying it wouldn't work, but when I look at it, I think of like, okay, would this fit kind of the genre and the overall feel of my city? Yeah. So like, I talked about the up house, I want the up house. That is going to be kind of an outlier, right? Because it's super bright, but it's iconic. It's the up house, and that's why I want it. So little things like that, I do pick and choose what I want in the city. But like he mentioned, Fabulands, no, and it also has to be kind of like on Friends. Like Friends has some pretty cool stuff. I'll admit, there's some cool stuff.
But those are the bright colors.
They're
a lot of
bright
the time.
colors, but it's like, where am I going to put this stuff? Like, if I don't have any space for it, so I have to be very selective about what I'm actually putting in the city, because I got to have room for it. And if it's something I really want to put in there and I don't have space for it, guess what happens? Something has to come out and go into storage. So it's a balancing act right now. So if there's something that I'm going to consider putting in the city, it has to be pretty awesome for me to sacrifice something else. So that's my answer. Hopefully that's satisfactory. So was there 2 from this person?
There's, I think, 4.
4?
That's right.
Well, all right, bring it on.
Are you going to use light kits for your Lego city?
Yes, slowly but surely.
You don't have any right now, right?
The only one that's in my city that has a light kit is the Ghostbusters Firehouse. I'm getting light kits for a lot of things that are not in the city. The Light Go, I have a good relationship with them. They send me light kits. I have one for the Eiffel Tower I still need to do. I have all of the 1/8 scale supercars. I've only done 1. I need to install 3. I have one for the Haunted Mansion that I haven't done yet, because they're so tight. They take a lot of time to put them in, to install them. But as far as like the main vein, the main city, I would love to put lights through that. It's just that I haven't found a good solution for that yet. That, I don't know, that would work with all the wiring and everything like that.
And I would imagine part of your problem, and this is why a lot of people do the Mills plating, right? Because you can run the wires
underneath it,
and you don't have that luxury.
not
And
have
we've
that.
talked about that. So.
Yeah. But no, the answer is yes, absolutely. It's just a matter of time and how.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Good question. Thank you. But I'll say Lego cities that are lit up, man, they look awesome. They really do.
Yeah.
It's a wow
for sure.
factor.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think the one that I really want to light up in my city the most is the cinema. Have you seen the ones that have like the flashing marquee with the running
that's so
lights
cool.
and stuff?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, if I could have one, that's the one.
That's the one.
And then I go and look at the price, and I think, oh, I don't know.
They're expensive. Yeah.
And I worry, because once I make a commitment, it's like, okay, well, now this is
Now
what
you gotta
that's
go
what I'm
for it.
going with, and I don't
Yeah.
want to make the wrong choice.
Yeah.
So I make no choice.
Make no choice. That's the right choice.
All right, next question. If you could get one ultimate set from Lego to put in your city, you can choose whatever you want in any theme from Lego, big or small. What would you choose and why?
Well, not that it would fit, but I would get a sporting venue. I would get like a massive baseball park or football arena, something like that. So I'd have like this really cool like sporting venue in the city of Minneapolis. I think that would be super awesome. Now they have the micro scale ones, right? But they're micro scale. But I want one that's minifig scale. Of course, you can't go full minifig scale, right? That would be way too big.
50,000 minifigs.
But something that, and I assume this would have between 12,000 to 15,000 pieces, because I would want like, you know, the hot dog stand inside of it, the bleachers all the way around it, and some great detail. Baseball, ideally, that's kind of like my sport. I like that, but football would be kind of cool too. American football. So that's what I would love. And if I were to get that, I would make the space. I would make it work some way, somehow. I would maybe even sacrifice my airport, because that takes up so much space, so much space. That's part of my challenge, is how do I make that work a little bit better with this rebuild. But that's what I want from Lego, if I could have anything I wanted.
Huh. That's interesting. I read that question differently. Like, I didn't think of it as like a pie in the sky. You pick a set. Like, what set is missing is how I read it. So that's interesting.
Oh, how did you read it?
I read it as any set that Lego has made. Like, what would you want? That's how I don't know.
Maybe that's how it should be. Hold on a second. Let me answer it that way too then.
Because I do like the baseball venue, actually. I love baseball. But.
Let's see. Any set from the vault. Oh, wow. I'm thinking of all such great. What should I go? Something. You know, I would love the Yellow Castle, just to have the Yellow Castle. You know, the 1978 Yellow Castle. That's kind of like a cool status symbol.
Oh yeah.
It's simple. You know, basic, ugly, but you know, we all know what it represents.
Oh yeah. Did you have many of the castle sets when you were a kid?
I had some. I collected a little bit as a teenager, and I had some castles, but not a lot. Ideally, you want to be collecting castle in the mid '80s, late '80s. Those are some fantastic sets.
That's what I had.
Wow.
I had a few of those.
Yes, but no, I think I would like to get my hands on the Black Seas Barracuda from 1989. I would love to have that pirate ship. That'd be fantastic.
Is that going to go in your city though?
No. Oh, did he say city?
He did say that it could go in your city.
Oh,
You can put it in your port.
If it's a city?
I don't know.
um,
Didn't you put the new version in your city, though? You worked it out.
yeah, I worked it out somehow. I can't think of anything for the city. A lot of stuff is like for display or external. So anyway, I think it's still a good answer.
All right.
Anyway, sorry if I misinterpreted your question, but that's what you got.
All right, and his last question. Which theme in the mid-90s was your favorite one? Mine was Rescue.
I remember Rescue. My friend had all of the Rescue. He was making more money as a teenager, so he was buying so many Lego sets. I was like, man, you suck. Let's see, mid-90s theme. Oh gosh, I'm trying to remember what they first were. So if we go back to the mid-90s, I'm a teenager. I'm between 14, 15, 16 years old. And I was so into the space sets. M-Tron was already gone by the mid-90s. So was Blacktron, I think was kind of getting phased out a little bit about that time. But I was super into Blacktron. I loved the Blacktron 2, not the original Blacktron. So I would say Blacktron slash, what were they called? Explorians, I think is what they were called. But they were any kind of, like those mid-90s space sub-themes were fantastic. And mostly because, I loved having epic space battles and blowing things up. And so I think that's what my favorite theme was. Yeah.
See, and for me, I would have actually a hard time answering this because...
Yeah, well, that wasn't easy.
Well, I'm a couple years older than you.
Okay.
Right, so I have 2 years, but
No, I know.
that time frame makes a difference, right?
Yeah.
Because, by 1990, I'm kind of in high school, and
Yeah,
I had
right.
started my dark ages.
Oh.
So, I think of late 80s as kind of like when I was prime into Lego as a kid. And
that would have been a great time.
the ones that I remember and were my favorite from when I was a kid, and if you don't care, Timo, sorry.
We care. This is good stuff.
I have, and I know you have one of these, but, I have those boats that would float.
Oh,
I have the tugboat. I have the fire boat.
Yes, I've seen your video on that. That is so cool.
My cousin and
Yes.
I remember we would go and we would play, and that was just like the coolest thing.
That is pretty cool.
And so I have those vivid memories in my head. The carpet was the water, and so
Yep.
And I can still remember him making his boat noise. So
yeah. Well, now that you said that, I have a second favorite, kind of a runner-up, and that was like the 9-volt trains. That was when I started getting into them. Now that there's like a theme, but it was kind of an ongoing theme, obviously. But yeah, those 9-volt trains were super fantastic. And like I said, by the time I kind of started getting into them is when they retired them in 2007. Because I had my dark ages there, kind of about 1997 to about 2006, 2007 was my dark ages.
yeah. See, and mine was really kind of probably around 1990. And I would look at it occasionally, but I didn't really get anything until my son came along. And
it's because we were broke.
Well,
I was.
that's part of it. Part of it is, girls won't like me if I like Lego. I gotta,
Yeah.
when you're a kid, you don't realize.
You do care about that stuff, yeah.
People think I'm weird.
Yeah, right. Oh, I know. Yeah, that's what I thought for sure. I was like, well, but I was kind of proud of the Lego. I'm like, yeah, I collect Lego. When I was 16, I got the model team truck, the big truck, whatever. I was really proud of it. I was like, yeah, I got Lego. Like, I got some judgment, whatever. Look where I'm at now. Yeah.
You and your monorails.
Yeah. All right, good questions. Thank you, Timo. Right?
Mm-hmm. Timo. Yes, thank you. Let's see. Next, we have. I don't know if this is actually a question, but it did make me laugh.
Okay.
This is from Matthew Edwards. He said, I'm just here to hear Alex go off on a tangent and tell an unrelated story. So I guess the question is, do you have any unrelated stories and tangents you'd like to share?
Yes, I always do. Because all right, I don't know. What tangent should I go off on? I don't know. What the heck is up with this, man?
I don't know. I just thought it was funny.
All right, well, I know a lot of people are excited about the new X-Wing, but I'm like, come on, why are we getting an X-Wing? That's 3 of them now. Why can't we get something cool, But that's...
Well, see, I would say to that, it's been 10 years, right, at least.
Has it been 10
I think
years?
the other one
Are you
was
serious right now?
2013.
This beast right here
think
is
so.
that old? The Red 5?
I think so.
All right. Well, okay.
So you've got to remember, there's a huge number of people that didn't get it.
I
It's
get
an
that.
iconic
I
ship.
totally get that. I totally understand.
Well,
And
wait a second.
I can appreciate that. But I'm saying, like, where's the Death Star 2?
Well,
Come on.
wait a second.
2005?
Time out.
I'm going on my tangent, but okay.
This is what I will say to you to rebut you.
Rebut me.
They came out with a land speeder, which is kind of an iconic ship. Like, you recognize it.
Sure.
Do you have it?
No.
And you complain, a lot of people are like, it's not very exciting. So they come out with something new, you don't like it. They come out with something old, you don't like it. Are you being one of those people now?
I'm one of those people in this video.
We just talked about these last week.
I know, I've got problems. Look, I'm just saying.
I don't know.
Look, okay, well, as somebody who has it,
Yeah.
okay, that's
I
what
can
I'm
understand
saying.
because I don't have it.
Because I'm like, oh, this is an opportunity for them to come out with something unique that they haven't come out with yet. Or something that's so old that even you and I would be like, this is so great. Let's get a Death Star 2 out. Come on. And not the darn dollhouse ones that are so overdone and so overpriced and painful to look at. Okay, you got your way. You got your way. All right. That's my tangent.
Well,
I gotta stop it
about
right
a Death
there.
Star 2, but
Anyway.
that's because I didn't get it.
I want to see some cool. If they're gonna come out with UCS, I don't know. Maybe it's just like.
What do you want? Like a brick-built Ewok?
I'll take an Ewok.
I don't know.
Anyway,
I've heard the rumors of a brick-built Chewbacca. I hope that never comes out.
I've heard this rumor as well,
I don't.
and I don't know.
That doesn't excite me.
I brought that up to the land. I didn't hear anything back. So
I did see
I
the
think
UCS Jabba sail barge, which was in a
that would
questionnaire.
that
or
would be
something.
fantastic.
That would be
See,
awesome.
that's unique, Lego. Let's do that, and let's not do another X-wing. Again, X-wings are fine. We can do that. Like but they're so overdone, man. I mean, the first one in 1999, X-wing. 2 years later, X-wing. I don't know if that's for a fact, but there's so many gosh darn X-wings. Like, can we just have one and move on? You know. All right, sorry. Okay. That's. Maybe it's probably unfair. All right. Again, this is my own. It's my own selfish perspective that I'm saying this. All right. So,
if you've ever wondered what triggers Alex, there you go.
I can always think of something that triggers me.
Next question has to do. This was actually on a blind build. They didn't ask it as a question, but
okay.
They said again, very funny to see. This was, by the way, your blind build.
Oh, mine. Okay,
so
great.
the one that
it was
just
funny to
dropped.
see, or not see in my case.
But Alex should have gotten a car too, to make it fair. I would kind of agree in some ways. His was super easy. It would comparatively.
It was
so
very easy compared to that. Yeah, I will admit that.
Because you had like 4 pieces, and there was no other way they could go
there was
together.
no other
the
way.
white
Like,
or the
okay.
red go on top.
And it was pretty obvious what it was, so I can see it, coming together in my mind. But yeah.
That being said, I will tell you, at the raw footage, it took him like 10 minutes more.
It did?
Yeah,
Whatever.
It really did. No, it seriously did.
I just gave you the pieces faster. That's what it was.
That was funny. Anyways, he says, so I suggest for the blind build competition that you only get similar builds in the box. Then your wives can team up with the other person. So Mindy and I would be together.
Gotcha.
And I guess you'd be with Tanya.
All right.
And direct them to build it. That should be interesting, I would think.
That would be interesting. That's an
But see,
interesting
the
idea.
problem with that is, what if you tell Mindy to sabotage me? I could see you doing that.
She would be all about me losing. She would be all about me losing. Like,
Well, I could see
we
that
gotta beat
too.
her. Yeah. Tanya, she seems really nice. Now, Mindy seems nice on the surface, so don't let that fool you. She can be highly competitive, especially when it's going against me. She's like, we got to take him down. And Mindy, if you're watching this, you know it's true. Anyway. That's a good idea, thank you.
Next question
Next question.
is from Fiverton Gal.
Oh, I love her. I love Fiverton Gal.
My wife always has questions for Alex, so
I love it.
She asked me one today.
Okay.
And she said, so how long does a hobby like this go on where it's still exciting and entertaining? Because you've been doing this a long time.
Yeah.
And my response, I'll tell you what I told her, and then you can
Okay.
respond.
Sure.
I said, I think that's part of the reason he's taken apart that whole part of the city, right? Is it kind of reinvigorates your excitement with the city.
Yeah.
Because you can only build so much. You run out of space, and then You can't put another modular because all the space is full.
Well, this is exactly what I did when I was a kid too. My friend and I, we'd be like, "Oh, what should we do today? Should we rearrange the city?" And we would spend hours in my bedroom just rearranging the city, and we would take everything out, and it was like a puzzle. And there was no right or wrong answer. It was just like, "Hey, should we do this?" And we bounced ideas off of each other. Now I'm just doing that on a different scale. Now it's evolved, obviously. It's a little crazy. It's overwhelming at sometimes, but you're absolutely right. I just love the challenge to keep it fresh. We all need a creative outlet, and I think that's why I've stuck with the hobby for as long as I have. Because as a kid, it was fun to play with. It was fun to destroy and fix it back up and collect and whatever the case might be. That was more interactive. You were playing with you get on your hands and knees and you play with them. As an adult, it's all about, I guess, the pride of ownership is there too, but it's also the challenge of building stuff, right? Big stuff. In this case, a big city, the whole layout. So that's how I keep it fun and fresh and creative, and it's just a great creative outlet, especially if you have like I don't know, a tough mentally demanding job, right? So you're like this too. We have desk jobs, right? We're in front of a computer all day. We're on conference calls. We're trying to solve problems and blah blah blah. We need an outlet from that, and Lego fits the bill very very well, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, there you go.
When I found out I was maybe not going to have a job, I said, let's go to Lego House.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a whole other thing.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, no, I agree with you. And I think that's part of the reason Lego was so popular during the pandemic, right?
Oh, my
People
goodness.
were cooped
yes.
up. They didn't have other outlets. And you can see how much it expanded at that time.
Yeah,
right? It became so much more acceptable as an adult to play with toys.
Yep. And I noticed that, and I don't know if you noticed this too, but during the time of the pandemic, my YouTube channel was doing fantastic. Like, there was a lot of traffic through it. Now, not so much. But yeah,
It has nothing to do with me.
Oh, yeah, right, sure. But there was this nice wave that a lot, probably everybody online was riding that did online content because it was great, you know. But yeah, like all good things, it came to an end.
But that's okay. People want to go outside.
Me too. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. I think that's all of our questions. Did you have any questions?
Yes, I made it. Did I pass the test? Any questions for you?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe someone sent you a question. I have no idea.
I don't know.
Okay.
That was pretty. Those are good questions. Yeah. Those are some tough ones too. Last time was easier. But anyway.
Yeah.
I remember it being easier anyway. All right. Anyway, yeah. For you, how much time we got? We got a minute or two.
We got about 4 or 5 minutes.
Okay. Let's do this. Let's say what got you into Lego?
Originally or back into Lego?
I guess let's do back because as kids we all had Lego because you were talking about collecting Lego.
My mom gave me a set probably.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
I mean, that would
that's
be the
how.
story.
And my dad gave me a set, and there it was, right? So what got you back into Lego?
Okay, so, and I kind of alluded to this. You know, I had my period where I didn't really collect any Lego, and then I had my son back in '99, and so, you know, probably early 2000s is when he kind of started to become that age.
Right.
And so we would get him sets, and you know, it's like, oh, I like Star Wars, so you like Star Wars, and, you know, so some of it was that way.
Yeah, right.
You know, and he had some, and he would play with my old Lego. So I kept all of my Lego.
You had your Lego still.
So I have it all.
Did you have it like packed really well, or was it all in pieces, or
it
how
was
did you...
a big sheet and all the loose pieces in there and everything. And,
really?
And it's amazing because, like, you saw my fire truck that lights up.
Yeah.
I still had all of those pieces.
Nice.
I mean, almost everything. There was maybe 1 or 2 small pieces, but as far as the light mechanism and everything, had all of that.
Nice.
So, so I had that, and you know, he would get sets and do that, and that's where, like, for example, all the Indiana Jones sets, because he doesn't really care about it now. So I've re-inherited them.
Yeah, that's the good thing about it, right?
You know, so I was able to take those and get the rest of them. But the thing that actually, well, speaking of Indiana Jones, that's actually kind of roundabout where it leads me. So it was in 2019.
Okay.
We had moved into our new house.
Okay.
My son had gone away to college, and I was home and didn't know what to do. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to try to put together some of the old sets, because we had all the books, or most of them at least.
Okay.
So I started with an Indiana Jones set. And I was able to really put all of them back together almost.
Really? Wow.
And I started doing that, and then I was like, you know, I kind of enjoy this. And, you know, occasionally we'd go to the Lego store, we'd walk down the aisle, you know, then this is even prior to that. But, you know, I didn't buy too much. You know, just a couple things like carbon freeze chamber.
Oh, yeah.
From around 2016 or whatever. I had a few sets, but, you know, really wasn't heavy into it.
Yeah.
But anyways, so that was the thing, and I'd been telling my wife, I'm like, I want that Disney Lego castle.
Oh yeah, castle.
And
right.
so one day I saw it was double points, and I'm like,
You got to do it.
the castle's double points, and she finally just broke down. She's like, fine, go buy it. And I was like, what, really? She's like, fine.
Music to your ears.
Well, I immediately got up and left. Like, I didn't wait for
don't worry
a
about
recount.
second, yeah.
Oh, well, I
Wait
was
a
just
minute.
kidding. So I'm back in 30 minutes or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And she's like, you really went and got it? Oh, yeah, I got it.
Oh yeah.
And so that was kind of the start of it, because then around that time, my son, he started doing DoorDash.
Oh,
and
cool.
was struggling at school. He's like, I can't figure it out. And so I signed up. So I started making a little extra money, and so I started using it to buy Lego. And so, like I told
You're a
my
dasher,
wife,
right?
I'm like,
yeah.
I want to get the UCS Falcon. She's like, well, if you save up your DoorDash money, 2 weeks later I had it.
Oh,
And she was like,
wow.
I had no idea it was going to be like this. So
There you go.
I don't DoorDash nearly as much, and things were crazy, but
Nice job.
so that's roughly how it kind of happened.
That's awesome. That's
So
good stuff.
I built old sets.
The
and
old
it
stuff sparked it,
that,
rekindled
and-
the love. Yeah, I like it. I like it. That's awesome, man. All right, well, it's cool. That's good. Good answer. I like it.
Any other questions?
Well, I want to save it for next time because we're at 30.
Okay.
Yeah.
One other thing I do want to say, thought you were going to ask me about this, but he didn't. People have asked about my job situation.
Oh, yeah,
so I
that's
did
right.
mention that. Fortunately, for those of you that aren't aware, I work for Silicon Valley Bank. Not a good thing that happened a month ago.
No.
The day I arrived in Billund, it was a whole mess. But anyways, the company has been purchased by First Citizens Bank, and they've actually onboarded everybody. So I have a job.
Woo.
Nice. Hopefully things will continue to work out. It looks like they will, and so I appreciate the comments and things people have sent. But
It's awesome.
we'll continue, and maybe there'll be more Lego.
We sure hope so. That's awesome. That's great news, man. Yeah. I saw that on it's been the big news as of late, right? So when I saw that was purchased, I'm like, oh, sweet. That's awesome.
Yeah. It was a few weeks of uncertainty as to what was going to happen.
Oh, man, I can't even imagine. Like, what's going to happen? Am I going to have a job? Am I going to be looking? Yeah.
So,
Scary stuff.
yep. So,
Well, good stuff. Well, so far, so good.
Yep.
Love it. Awesome.
That's it. Well, that's our time. So thanks for joining us for this
We made it through
episode
another one.
of Ask Alex,
Yes. And Jason.
and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Are you in need of fine clothing alteration and repair? Then look no further than Tim Taylor's Spool Time. We have all the finest fabrics, equipment, and service that can't be beat. Located between Palace Cinema and the Jazz Club. It's Tim Taylor's Spool Time, Fiverton.